have lived long enough to watch brilliant men with IQs that would make a statistician weep, die poor. I have seen them die poor, not because they lacked the cognitive horsepower to understand the Black-Scholes model, and not because they couldn't read a balance sheet. They died poor because they could not endure the absolute, grinding boredom of getting rich. They died poor because they treated the stock market like a casino instead of a partner. They were chasing the dragon of excitement, seeking the dopamine hit of the gamble, while the wise man was simply sitting on his hands, watching the paint dry and letting the elementary laws of mathematics do the heavy lifting. The public, and perhaps you, operate under a delusion. You believe that the path of wealth is a linear line, a smooth escalator ride from zero to infinity. You think that going from nothing to your first $100,000 is the same level of difficulty as going from 100,000 to 200,000. That is a lie. That is a lie that will keep you poor if you do not purge it from your brain immediately. The first $100,000 is a bitch. It is the hardest money you will ever make. It is a slog through the mud. It is a period of your life where you must behave like a miser, where you must say no to the world, where you must delay gratification until it hurts. There is no magic in the first 100,000. There is no compounding to save you. The curve is flat. You are pushing a boulder up a hill at a 45-degree angle. And if you stop pushing for even a moment, it rolls back and crushes you. But here is the secret that the schools won't teach you and the brokers don't want you to know. Once you crest that hill, once you get that first snowball built, the physics change. The gravity flips. The boulder starts to roll down the other side, and suddenly you aren't pushing anymore. You are just trying to keep up with it. But you have to get to the top of the hill first. Most of you won't. Most of you will give up halfway, buy a shiny car you can't afford, and slide back into the mud of mediocrity. Let's talk about the pain. I want you to visualize what this actually looks like. It is not a spreadsheet. It is a visceral experience. Imagine it is a Tuesday in November. You have been working for 3 years. You are saving 50% of your income. You are driving a car that rattles when it hits 40 miles per hour. You bring a sandwich to work while your colleagues go out for $20 salads. You look at your brokerage account. You have scraped together, through blood and sweat, $25,000. You feel a glimmer of pride. Then, some bank fails in Europe, or some politician says something stupid on television, and the market drops 3%. In one afternoon, $750 vanishes. That is a week of your labor, gone, vaporized. You feel sick. You feel like a fool. The primitive part of your brain screams at you. It says, "Why are you suffering? Why are you eating this dry sandwich? The system is rigged. Take the money out. Buy the television, go on the trip. This is the filter. This is the great separator." The market is designed to transfer money from the active to the patient. But more specifically, it is designed to transfer money from the emotional to the disciplined. If you cannot look at that red screen and understand that the red is the price of admission for the green that comes later, you are finished. You are fighting an internal enemy that has been evolving for 200,000 years. Your brain is not designed for the stock market. Your brain is designed to survive on the Serengeti. When our ancestors saw a lion, the amygdala, the lizard brain took over. It pumped cortisol and adrenaline into the blood. It shut down the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic and long-term planning, and it screamed run. This kept us alive. It was a perfect system for avoiding predators. But in the financial markets, there are no lions. There are only red numbers. But your biology doesn't know the difference. When the Dow Jones falls 500 points, Your brain reacts exactly as if a saber-toothed tiger just jumped out of the bushes. You feel the urge to run. In finance, running means selling. And selling at the bottom is financial suicide. It is the equivalent of running toward the lion's mouth because you are afraid of the rustling grass. You must understand that to get rich, you must fight your own biology. You must override millions of years of evolutionary programming. You must stand still when every fiber of your being wants to flee. Then there is the envy. Envy is a really stupid sin because it's the only one you could never possibly have any fun at. Gluttony, you get to eat. Lust, you get some pleasure, but envy is just pure, unadulterated pain. You look at the man next door. He has the boat. He has the vacation home. He just made a quick 50 grand on some dog coin or some flying car stock. You look at your boring index fund, which is grinding out 7%, and you feel inadequate. You feel slow. You feel like a sucker. This is where the stupidity creeps in. You diagnose yourself with a lack of action. You think, I need to do something. I need to be smarter. I need to find the next big thing. You are suffering from action bias. You believe that activity correlates with results. In almost every other field of human endeavor, this is true. If you want to dig a ditch, digging faster gets it done sooner. If you want to learn the piano, practicing more hours makes you better. But investing is the art of the negative. It is the art of not doing stupid things. It is the art of assetability. If you can get the first $100,000 together and then simply sit on your ass, literally do nothing, for 30 years, you will be rich. But you can't do it. You have to fiddle. You have to touch the machinery. And every time you touch it, you break it. Let us dissect the mechanics of the first $100,000, the accumulation phase. This is the grind. I call this the eating your vegetables phase. There is no dessert here. Let's do the math, and let's do it honestly. Let's say you manage to save $10,000 a year, a respectable sum for a young person. In year one, you have $10,000. The market gives you a generous 10% return. You made $1,000. That is $83 a month. It is pathetic. It won't pay your electric bill. It barely buys a tank of gas. You look at that $1,000 and you think, is this it? Is this what Charlie Munger was talking about? This is useless. This is the danger zone. This is where people quit. They see the negligible returns, and they decide the game isn't worth the candle. They don't understand that they are building the engine. You cannot drive the car while you are still assembling the pistons. You have to keep your head down. You have to be a machine. You have to take pleasure in the deprivation itself, knowing that you are buying your freedom $1 at a time. You are not buying stocks. You are buying optionality. You are buying the ability to tell your boss to go to hell 20 years from now. But then, something magical happens. It doesn't happen with fanfare. There are no fireworks. It happens quietly, in the background, while you are busy living your life. You hit the inflection point. You cross the $100,000 mark. Now, let's look at that same 10% year. 10% of 100,000 is $10,000. Now, the money is working. That is $10,000 you did not have to sweat for. That is $10,000 you did not have to trade your time for. Think about what that means. If you earn $20 an hour, that $10,000 represents 500 hours of labor. That is 3 months of full-time work. Your money just worked 3 months for you, for free, while you slept, while you played golf, while you read a book. You have effectively hired a minimum wage employee who works 24 hours a day, never complains, never steals, and never takes a smoke break. This is the moment the heavy lifting shifts from your back to the back of your capital. Let me paint you a picture of what happens if you don't interrupt this process. Let's talk about the snowball. This is the part people don't intuitively grasp because the human brain thinks linearly, not exponentially. You struggle for 7, maybe 10 years to get that first 100,000. It feels like an eternity, but the second 100,000, that doesn't take 7 years. That takes 4 or 5. The third 100,000 takes 3 years. By the time you are aiming for your million, the money is piling up so fast it surprises you. Imagine you are at $900,000. The market has a good year, say 20%, which happens. That is $180,000 in gains. In 1 year, that is likely more than your salary. You have reached a point where your portfolio fluctuates more in a day than you can save in a year. The momentum is now greater than your contribution. You are no longer the engine. You are just the steering wheel. But you will never see this day. You will never see this mathematical miracle. If you kill the process in year 3 because you got bored or scared, now we must talk about the minefield. There are 3 mines that will blow your legs off just when you think you are safe. The first is lifestyle inflation. This is the most common form of financial suicide I see. You hit $100,000, you feel rich. You look at your old Honda and you sneer. You go down to the dealership and you lease a German car. You move into a luxury apartment. You start drinking expensive wine. You have just eaten your seed corn. You have taken the very soldiers you recruited to fight for your freedom and you have executed them. You have reset the clock. You are back to zero, but now you have higher monthly payments. You have tightened the noose around your own neck. The time to buy the luxury goods is when the dividends from your dividends can pay for them, not when you are still building the base. If you upgrade your lifestyle every time your portfolio grows, you remain on the hamster wheel forever. The scenery changes, but you are still running. The second mine is intelligence arrogance. This is a trap for the smart ones. The doctors, the lawyers, the engineers. You get a little money, and you start to think you are a genius. You think, I am smart enough to be a neurosurgeon. Surely I can pick stocks better than the market. You start reading charts, you start watching the cable news, talking heads. You start trying to time the tops and the bottoms. Let me be clear, you are not smarter than the market. The market is a collective intelligence of millions of participants, many of whom have better information, faster computers, and fewer scruples than you. When you try to beat the market, you are playing a game against ghosts. You will lose. You will churn your account, pay taxes, and underperform the index. The most intelligent thing you can do is admit that you know nothing, buy the entire haystack via an index fund, and go do something else. Intellectual humility is the most profitable trait you can possess. The third mine is the interruption. This is the big one. This is the destroyer of worlds. Imagine it is the year 2008 or 2020. The world feels like it is ending. The news is apocalyptic. Your portfolio is down 40%. You have lost years of savings on paper. The pain is physical. You can't sleep. The voice in your head says, sell everything. Go to cash. Wait for the dust to settle. If you listen to that voice, you are dead. You are locking in a temporary decline and making it a permanent loss. You are selling your assets to someone like me, who is sitting there with a bucket, waiting for you to panic. The big money is not made in the buying and the selling. The big money is made in the waiting. It is made by holding on when everything tells you to let go. If you cannot handle a 50% decline in your portfolio without flinching, you do not deserve to be rich, and you won't be. So, here is the ultimatum. You are going to die. That is the only certainty in this life. You have a finite number of heartbeats. Do you want to spend them worrying about money? Do you want to spend them shackled to a desk because you couldn't control your spending? The first $100,000 is the price of your emancipation. It is the ransom you pay to the world to buy back your own time. The path is not complicated. It does not require you to be a genius. It requires you to be a miser for a few years and a rock for a few decades. It requires character. Go find a hobby. Read a biography of a great man. Learn to fish. Do anything other than look at the ticker symbol. Let the money pile up in the corner like dust bunnies. If investing is exciting to you, you are doing it wrong. It should be dull. It should be boring. It should be like watching grass grow. Because while you are watching the grass grow, the roots are going deep, and one day you will wake up and realize you are standing in a forest that you planted, one seed at a time. Now, stop looking for secrets. There are no secrets. There is only math, and there is only discipline. Get to work.